I knew that was gonna happen. That's why I don't like recording with my phone, because somebody call and then throw your whole video off. Like, that's super whack. And I don't be trying to live stream like that. But before I was rudely interrupted, what I was speaking about was how basically, I'm from the streets. And even though I'm not in the streets, it's like, the philosophy. There's a certain philosophy and a certain type of mind state that really never left me. And it comes out more now. Certain sensitivities comes out more now that I'm awake. I'm conscious because I'm conscious, because when you're conscious, or the true meaning of consciousness is you are more in touch with your soul. Your soul is in a driver's seat. So when your soul is in the driver's seat, you are more in touch with your true self. So certain situations and certain instances is going to hit different, because when you're in touch with your true self, the only thing that matters is, your destiny, what you was actually created for. And majority of people in the world have no idea what they was created for. They just are, they just are in certain circumstances because that's where they was placed at. And that's part of the reason, even though some people say it's not good to name yourself, and people are just assigning themselves names and things like that. But I understood the power of a name. I understood the power of a name, because when I was going by the name No Remorse, everything that's attached to that name was everything that I experienced during that time that I was going through when I had the name No Remorse, and everything that's attached to that name. And so, once I start gaining knowledge, and once I start learning about vibration and frequencies and etymology, and just the simple understanding of the power of a name, I looked up No Remorse, and I looked up this name, and I looked at everything that came along with that name, with shame, embarrassment, all just wasn't nothing good attached to it. And everything started to make sense. So I named myself the name of my higher self. And so the name that I'm wearing now is the name of my higher self. And Saya, it's an ancient Egyptian name. It's an ancient Egyptian term. We have no true idea of the real pronunciation. All we have is a very good guess. But through the pictorial images is how we gain insight into its meanings. And Saya is basically where you get the word science. And it's to have foreknowledge. It's to see. It's to know. And so, it's becoming real hard for me to work a job. Not out of ego. It's becoming real hard for me to work a job because it's something in me that keeps telling me that I'm supposed to be doing something different. And, sometimes it's for certain people, as of myself, in certain life situations, it's hard for us to follow that voice. Even though we may know that this is the one and only true voice that you should be listening to. But sometimes it gets hard to follow that voice because really all you have is the voice, and until you meet, you know, the actuality of certain situations. So it takes faith and it takes heart, you know. But I think it does start out with knowing who you are, and you know, and I think that's where it starts out at. But I think the main problem that we have in the workplace is we have a whole bunch of people that's not in touch with reality because of the miseducation and the programming that they've been under for so long. And so, you know, once these people have been under this spell and this programming and this artificial reality, it causes problems. You know, the workplace can be very toxic. You see all the time people lose their mind, go crazy, and come to the job and want to shoot people up at the job. Now, that behavior is definitely not condoned by me, and it's tragic and it's unfair and it's not right. But majority of the time when I hear about things like that, I immediately think about this person was probably being mistreated on the job. Because see, the world is not fair. The world is not fair, and people are pieces of shit. People are pieces of shit because people are pieces of shit because people have not been introduced to the real knowledge, the real information. So people can't function in this world harmonically because they don't have the information or the foundation to do so. And the only people that don't have the foundation to do so, but somehow come here with a certain type of knowledge embedded in them already, you can see that these people are special. And people do just come here a certain way. They literally don't have to pick up things, you know, as they go along and through life experiences. Of course, life experiences help bring things out of you and, you know, is the greatest teacher. But some of us come here just with a certain type of spirit and energy. And, you know, what I've found for myself is, and it's not from ego, because, you know, I've been studying spirituality and different spiritual systems, you know, for some years now, and have a really good idea of what the ego is and what the ego does. And have a really good idea, you know, when my ego is out of check. But, you know, I have a really big problem of people being over me, you know, as the boss, as the you know, as the person in charge. You know, I have a problem with that, and I really don't respond well to it. And it's like, you know, and so, you know, I try to tell myself, like, bruh, this is not the streets. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and, you know, I really get offended. You know, I really get offended, and I really get angry, you know, No, not so much from a woman though. And that's, a little different from me. Like a woman, not from a woman. I don't know if it's because I didn't grow up with my pops. And, I literally never really took instructions from a man. My whole life, I literally really only took instructions from my mom. Even though my mother was married for over 30 years, but unfortunately, for the longest time, ever since I was a youngin', I had the understanding that, this guy is not my father. Even though he was a great person, and, a lot of the things that he implemented, and the things that he talked about, and the things that he tried to show me, I understand more now. But but it's hard, when you are a young man and majority of your childhood is just you and your mother, then when a man come around, that this person is literally not your father. So it's easy to rebel in certain instances. So that's, I don't say that to take anything away from the man that was in my life. But I'm just being totally honest. But, I don't take orders from another man very well. I just don't. I don't like it. It doesn't feel right to my spirit, for another man, to be trying to tell me what to do, or to be telling me something like I need to know, or I need to hear, you know what I mean? It's just like, I just don't take it very well. I know when someone is trying to present themselves as if they have, the power, and as if I'm beneath them in some sort of way. And usually this happens because we are living in an artificial reality, and this artificial reality, people are living in la la land. People are living in la la land because they go to these schools, right? They go to these schools for years and years, and most of the time teaches them nothing. And they come back in the world and really think that they're helping somebody, and they're literally not. And they just believe that they are over someone, and they think that they have achieved. They think that they have literally achieved something because they went and got miseducated. So this is the BS that's going on in the workplace. Then someone come along, they just want to put food on the table, and they just want to live life stress-free. They just want to come do their job. They just want to go home. But you got to deal with an asshole who's on an ego trip because they're a piece of shit, and they really don't feel good about themselves, or they just a hater. They see something in you that they don't like. They might spot some light in you, and they want to dim your light, or, various different reasons. But you rarely see people who have achieved this artificial status in this matrix. You barely see these people very pleasant, very humble, and you rarely see them with the temperament of being equal with the people that's around them. These people have been trained and miseducated, and now they believe that they're mentally superior when when all in actuality they are mentally inferior. And a lot of what they've been told and learned was just a lie. And yeah, and a lot of these people are walking, talking, work a mess for those that know, right? So yeah, and to be honest with you, seeing everything that's just going on in the world today, you know, I really think that a big change is going to come. And, you know, I don't wish anything drastic. I don't wish anything terrible on anybody or on any group of people. You know, I just wish to see this planet in a harmonic state, you know. But, you know, I talk about this a lot in my videos because this is something that really, you know, it really touches my spirit. You know, ever since a child and ever since, you know, living in this world, it's been a lot of things that I knew that wasn't right. Nobody didn't have to tell me that this isn't right. Nobody had to tell. I knew it wasn't right. Like I told y'all, I'm from the streets, you know, and growing up in the hood, there's this element of treating women a certain type of way. And anybody that know me can tell you I was never about that. You know, and I wouldn't be surprised if cats behind my back would talk about me a certain way. Like, you know, when I'm a youngster and we, you know, hanging out with the fellas or whatnot, and, you know, when it comes to women and sexually, women can get treated a certain way if they're not taking care of themselves. They put themselves in the wrong predicament. If they bring themselves around the wrong type of people, around the wrong crowd, women can get mistreated and treat themselves a certain type of way. And even though that I was hanging around people that viewed and seeing women in this manner, anybody could tell you that wasn't my spirit, and I wouldn't partake in such activities, because, you know, I had a heart. You know, I had a heart, and I felt, you know, that people should be treated like human beings. You know what I mean? So, I don't know where this video is actually going to go to. I don't really have a set destination, but I think when you feel a certain way, you feel that way for a reason, and sometimes maybe people should hear it, because maybe it's somebody feeling the same way as you do, and maybe just hearing that somebody else feels that way may just be what that person needed to hear, just for them to know, like, wow, I'm not the only one. So, you know, ever since I started working a job or going on the jobs, it's something about it that conflicted with my spirit. You know, I'm not a lazy person. I've never been a lazy person. So it's not like, you know, I just don't want to work, because I force myself to work for money. You know, I don't have a bad work record or work history, whatever the case may be. You know, if I was just lazy, it will reflect that I never had a job. But that's not the case. But it just always conflicted with my spirit. It just always, it just always felt like something wasn't right with it. You know, it just always felt like something wasn't right with it. And I think that goes along with, you know, finding the right people to work around, finding the right atmosphere, and actually doing something that you actually love. You know, it's important to have a job and do something that you actually love. But when money is in the picture, and money is a demand, a daily demand, and a daily need, you ain't, you know, you really don't have time to do something that you love. It just really don't work like that. To be in a position to be doing something that you love, it takes time, it takes patience, and it takes what's the word I want to use? It takes patience. You know, it's going to take some time to put yourself in that position to be where you want to be in life, and to be spending your time daily doing something that you love. But with the everyday demands of life, you're not afforded that luxury. You dig what I'm saying? So yeah, I don't know if other people thinks like this, but sometimes I just wonder, you know, how long, you know, can this continue to go on? You know, because it's just a mess. You know, it's just a mess. And even if you do your thing and you pull yourself out the muck and mire, when you come from a certain place, you still know that there's people there where you was. Everybody can't be pulled out the muck and mire. Everybody's not going to make it out the mud. That's only reserved for a select few. This matrix is literally the yin-yang symbol. You know, it's just the wealthy and the unwealthy. You know what I mean? That's just all it is. You dig? But, you know, I'm grateful for my blessings. And I'm just venting. So, to all of y'all blessed people out there who done worked hard and got yourself in a stable position, and life is good for you. You know, much love and props to you. But people are at different levels. You know, different levels at different times. And you know, this is, you know, but like I said, but then you got people who are asleep too. You know, you got people who are asleep too, and a certain life, you know, working for somebody else, you know, just a certain type of lifestyle, it really doesn't bother them because they super sleep and they not in touch with their spirit. You dig? So, you know, this is just me venting. I do got some information that I do want to bring to the channel. I got some things I've been studying and some things that's really caught my eye as it pertains to I'm trying to think, do I want to, as it pertains to, you know, we always, and I always talked about, and you always hear about how all of our religions come from the ancient world, but I never realized how exact it was. And people think that we are not in touch with the ancient world, and we think that we lost touch with the ancient world and things was lost, and they haven't. We are actually still doing these ancient practices. We are actually, we just don't know what we are doing, and we don't know where it comes from. So I got some things I want to reveal on that. But other than that, I'm just getting some pressure off my chest, Peace and love to everybody. Peace.